How in the heck is it going, everybody? Been a while. This is by far, hands down, the longest time frame that's gone between us uploading videos. Hopefully, this will be the longest it ever goes in the future in between us uploading videos. Not because we haven't been out trying to, I'm going to tilt this down a bit, trying to film videos. Because we have. We're on November 13th right now, I think, and we've hunted probably, I think, 9 of the last 13 days of early goose season. Every day we've hunted, we've scouted as well, and pretty much every day we haven't hunted. I mean, we probably put 500 miles and probably 15 hours on the truck, just looking around, looking on water, looking on fields, looking for birds. Early on in the season, we found a field. We probably had 100 geese in there. Watched 75 mallards dump in while we're looking at a bunch of sandhill cranes. Birds just freaking everywhere, all over this field. Go get permission. Look at it the next day, trying to figure out when and where we want to hunt. No birds. Look at it the day after. No birds. I've looked at that field 5-6 times since the day it was loaded. And, needless to say, at least here in the central northern upper peninsula of Michigan, birds just are not here. We have local birds that hang out around the college, but pretty much every time we've gone out, we could have whacked a limit of mallards. Definitely should have emphasized more on the teal. Now that teal season's done here in Michigan, definitely could have done a lot better on the teal than on the honker bird. So far, we've killed 4 honkers in 9 hunts, and that was a jump shoot. Jumped a little lake, bunch of birds there, chased them back and forth for a while. Figured, yeah, let's go back, let's hunt that lake, it'll be great. And sat out there for 12 hours and didn't see a bird. Had 5 flyers, a mile and a half off, never even saw them. But that is not what this video is about. As you can tell by the title, this was, aside from getting in a rollover car accident and falling through the ice fishing, this is probably number 3 of the top 3 scariest moments of my life. It was pretty scary. As you guys know, with duck hunting, luckily we lucked out. It was super warm. So if it would have gone any worse, at least we wouldn't have froze to death. Could have drowned, but wouldn't have froze to death. For most of duck hunting, it's super nasty, super cold. Air's cold, water's cold, snowing sometimes, windy, raining, just nasty, nasty weather. And when you combine boats and nasty weather, you really, there's very limited room for things to go wrong. So the spot that we hunt is probably about a mile and a quarter from the boat launch, and you got to send her dead nuts through the channel, or else you're going to come off left and you're going to super shallow, stumpy, weedy, just nasty, nasty water. Or if you shoot her too hard to the right, you're going to come into random rock bars, submerged rocky islands, rock piles, just rock. As we found out towards the end of the last season, you hit one of those rocks going full tilt, you're looking at probably $800 to $1,000 in damage to our Mercury 25-horse motor. So we've got her kind of dialed in, our route back and forth from where we hunt to where we launch to where we back and forth, all that kind of good stuff. Always double, triple, quadruple check. 1, before you leave the house that you have the plug for your boat. 2, before you leave the boat launch that the plug is in your boat, which I will always do. I think twice the first year, maybe 3-4 years ago, whenever I got this boat, I backed it into the water without the plug, and I quickly realized, never took it off the trailer, but quickly realized, pull up, let the water drain out, put the plug in. So we did put the plug in this morning. I think we were down to the spot at about 4:30. Shooting light was on this day 6:51, 52, somewhere in there. We were at the spot by probably about 5 o'clock getting set up. We had 3 guys. 2 guys setting decoys. 1 guy just kind of sitting in the boat, twiddling his thumbs. Shout out to you, Alistair. I'm out in the decoys, moving things around, setting them, resetting them, resetting them. And Alistair goes, "Hey, Scott, did you put the plug in?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, what are you talking about? I always put the plug in. If I didn't put the plug in, we would have sank halfway out here. So, yes, I put the plug in." He goes, "All right, well, I believe you. There's a lot of water in here, though." I'm like, "Oh, no, it's probably, getting in and out with waders. There's probably some water in there to begin with." So I set a couple more decoys. And Scott, there's a lot of water in here. Might as well go look. Walk over there, go grab another bag of decoys, come out. And, well, what I found was indeed not good. We were hunting Big Water, Lake Michigan, south wind. We're on northern Lake Michigan, south wind coming all the way across the lake, probably dealing with 1 to 2.5 footers at 5 o'clock in the morning. Can't see anything, almost no lights around the lake. And I get over to the boat, and from the floor of the boat to the center of the keel, or the hull, or whatever you want to call it, is probably about a foot to 1.5 foot of open bilge area. And then there's the deck, and then from the deck to the top railing of the boat is probably a foot, maybe a foot, or probably 2 foot, maybe 2.5 foot. And I get back there and I look, and there is probably about 6 inches of water covering 3/4 of the deck of the boat, which means that the entire floor of the boat is, or the whole, or the bilge of the boat is flooded. Now, mind you, we're in a 16.5 foot Bass Tracker John boat. It's a 1654, like 16.5 feet wide, 54 or 16.5 feet long, 54 inches wide, semi V. So it's got some bit of a V on the bottom, breaks up the waves a little bit, with a 25 horse 4-stroke Mercury. Just fishing, the boat will do about 20, 24 miles an hour. It has a 4-person or 640 pound weight capacity, which is ridiculous. Absolutely, hands down, ridiculous for a duck boat. I mean, we put 4 guys with waders and hunting gear on. We're pushing 600-700 pounds probably easy. I mean, I'm 250, 240 myself. Just signed up for gym membership today, hoping to shave about 30 off of that, but that's aside the fact. And then we put our beaver tail blind, which is probably by itself like 50 pounds with probably 100, give or take, pounds of camo on the blind. Then you factor in, I mean, at least just with geese, I think we were only running 3 dozen goose floaters, maybe another 50 pounds, maybe something like that. 3 shotguns, ammo, drinks, calls, everything that goes with duck hunting. We were probably 300-400 pounds overweight capacity, plus add probably, I would guess, probably 100 gallons of water into the boat with no plug. So I'd always heard rumors of people in bass boats or faster boats, like, you know, hey, they're going back to the boat launch, they want to drain the water out, they pull the plug out while they're going, and I guess if you can get up on plane or go fast enough, the water will drain out. Well, we didn't have the option of pulling the plug out, so we said, you know, I went into action mode. Well, I'm freaking out in my head, nervous as hell, and all right, well, we got to leave everything here. Everybody get in the boat. We're not going to sink on this freaking island in the middle of the lake with nothing to do, nobody around. It's 5 o'clock in the freaking morning on a Wednesday. We got to get back to the boat launch. And I knew if we went into the water, well, technically there's supposed to be enough foam in boats where they don't sink all the way. So I was like, okay, well, maybe if the boat doesn't sink, the guns will at least be laying in the bottom, and we won't lose the boat. We won't lose our guns. Really don't want the boat to sink. So I'm getting ahead of myself. What happened, how the plug came out, was the point where we were hunting was a submerged island with immediate growth brush, I guess I would say. I mean, they weren't trees. It wasn't grass. It just bushes growing out of the water, I guess. Maybe like 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick branches. And somehow, I hate these plugs, so I recommend that you guys do not use these plugs. It's just the last one we had. We lost a couple. One kind of got corroded and broke. There's one where you put the plug in, you twist it, twist, and then the actual lever you have to push up to close. It's a big, long, like 2-3 inch long lever. And when I first looked at the plug, I knew it was going to be a problem. It's just way too easy for a branch or something to get stuck up underneath that arm and, either loosen it, pop it out, pull it out, whatever. Something happened. We moved the boat up into the brush, and at some point I positioned the boat to where we thought we were going to hunt. The plug came out. So now we have 3 extra of the actual, like the T-top. It's a real short bolt that goes in with a little T that you can hand tighten. So there's not as much sticking out for stuff to get stuck on, and there's no like actual flipping up of a lever to tighten the plug, which I guess it's kind of, well, compared to the T, you just screw it in, that bolt goes into the plug, expands the plastic, and it holds in the hole, as opposed to with the other one, you tighten it, the bolt goes in, expands that plastic, and then you flip the lever up to actually seal it the way that you want it, as tight as you want it. But the only problem is that lever comes flipping down. It's anybody's ball game at that point, what can happen. So boat starts sinking. we go into action mode, decide that our best option is to haul nuts back to the boat launch. And typically in my boat, I would always have at least 2 extra plugs because there's 2 compartments that go into our bass tracker. There's one along the, I'm not going to try to use nautical terms. Looking forward, there's one along the left side of the boat. I guess this would be your left, maybe. The left side of the boat that holds, it's a rod locker. That one doesn't come out. And there's a removable compartment along the other side of the boat that we usually keep our flares, fire extinguishers, knickknacks, and whatnots in there. So I took the legal stuff that you need to have a boat, the flares, the fire extinguisher, put them into a dry bag, tuck that up under the front deck, which is, I mean, it keeps life jackets. You can put some stuff in there, but not too much room as far as decoys and whatnot go. So I figured if I could just get this side compartment out of my boat, I would have that much more room for decoys, which works out great. Gives a lot more room in the boat. Never even thought about the fact that my 2 extra plugs were in there, and never even thought about the fact that I could possibly lose a plug. So right away when the water's coming down, I'm like, okay, well, I have 2 extra plugs. Okay, they're an hour north, back in the garage. Not going to do us any good. Get everybody in the boat. And the problem with duck hunting and only having a 25 horsepower motor is you put all the people and gear in there, you ain't getting, there's no way in heck you're getting on plane. Lucky to see maybe 11 miles an hour with all that gear in there. And I get out of the spot. I mean, we're barreling through grass. It's just a beeline straight back to the boat launch. I got that thing freaking pinned, and I bet you we weren't doing more than 6 miles an hour. And I'm talking, the boat is going through the water like this, and the water level, I mean, we're watching the waves come up, roll. I mean, the back end of this boat at the time was a good probably 6 inches to a foot below the water. Luckily, we had enough gas. Luckily, it's a new motor, maintained. Weren't really thinking it was going to break down. But I remember the whole time we had 2 Yeti coffee cups. Shout out to you, Yeti. You should not have screwed over the NRA. But the only thing that you'll get a shout out from us for is for saving our lives. Using the Yetis to bail out the floor of the boat. I mean, standing in 6 inches of water, pinned. And we're not even bailing out from the bilge. We're bailing out of what is spilling up onto the floor. Because the one other bad thing about a bass tracker is the only access to the bilge is probably about a 6 by 3 inch hole in the back. So there's really, I mean, there's no way to actually get down into there. But luckily, well, not luckily, but the water was coming up high enough to where we could just scoop it right off the floor of the boat. So we had probably about a 25, 30 minute white knuckle ride. Well, it probably wasn't that long. It felt like that long while we were running back to the boat launch. Managed to get going, I guess maybe, I don't know if it was our bailing or what, but we were not going very fast. But we got to a point where we were bailing. And at least we're slowly lowering the water level. Got up on the shore, busted ass to the parking lot. I got the truck and trailer, came down, got it on the trailer, pulled it out. I mean, everybody we were with could have taken 4 showers in the amount of time it took for the amount of water to come out of that drain hole. Went to Walmart and, I sent the buddies to Walmart. I stayed with the boat. Sent them to Walmart. They got a couple extra plugs. And from where we launched, we couldn't see where the decoys were, but I could see the spot where we were hunting. And I remember it probably took them an hour, 45 minutes, an hour to go get a plug and come back. Watched 2 separate small flocks of geese fly over. And what it looked like from where I could see, it looked like they dumped right into our decoys that were not even set up. I mean, they were all just piled. Imagine 24 Texas rigged freaking honkers just all in a clump. When they should be spread out like 60 yards, they're covering like 6 feet. And the birds, for whatever reason, liked the little goose orgy and dumped right in. But by the time everybody got back, we got a new plug in the water, decided, yeah, we're here, we're still alive, might as well hunt. Got back out there for like 4 hours, never even heard a honker. So the takeaway from this adventure, doesn't really matter if you remember to put the plug in because plugs fall out. And I'd say this is probably more of a problem for the waterfowl hunter as opposed to a bass fisherman. I mean, obviously, if you're going through some nasty country, you might pop a plug out on a fishing boat. This, I think, is more likely to happen with a duck hunter hunting swamps, backwater sloughs, whatever it may be. The takeaway is you should always have at least 1 extra plug in your boat. We have 3. No, we have 2 extras now. Well, plus the 2 that I got. So now I guess I have 5 total plugs, which is good. So we're going to put 2 extra ones in the boat. And with I don't have it here. With the lanyard I have for my duck calls, it's got 6. Yeah, it's got 6 call tie-offs, and I run 4 calls. I'm not a good caller. There's no reason for me to have more than 4 calls. So I got 2 extra tag ends, got a plug slipped right on to the harness, got an extra one in my waders, and we're going to put the rest of the extra ones in the boat. That way, whatever happens, if I'm duck hunting and I lose a plug, I will have another one. Nice thing that we learned from this time compared to the last time I almost sunk my boat when we were out in way too rough of water with way too many people is the power of a bilge pump. Now, I don't think that the bilge pump was pumping out water as fast as it was coming in, but the last time I almost sank the boat, the bilge was like completely clogged. So it was like, I mean, a trickly drop of water coming out of the bilge pump that time. Luckily, this time I've kept the bilge pump clean. So on top of us bailing, bilge pump going, and just trying, I guess, I wasn't really focusing on checking to see, but I think we might have been going fast enough and been at enough of an angle to where either the water wasn't coming in anymore or it might have actually been draining out. And if you could get into a boat, hammer, go 20, 30, 40 miles an hour and pull the plug, I mean, all the water's going to come right out. But doing 5 miles an hour, like 1 to 2 foot waves, hard to say. Clean bilge pump, something to bilge out of, or bail's the word I'm looking for. Bail water out. I don't know how many times I probably screwed that up in this video. Aside from that, have an extra plug. It doesn't matter how tight you put it in. It doesn't matter that you make sure you put, well, it does matter you make sure you put it in. But things happen. I mean, you could be motoring, come across a stump or whatever, bump it, could get hooked into there, pull that plug right out the back. And more than likely, you're not going to know until, your boat's about half full of water. Who knows? We could have popped that. I mean, that plug had to have been out for a good 20, 30 minutes, I bet, by the amount of water that was in there. I've never seen that much water in that boat before. Pretty scary, definitely scary in the dark, definitely scary in big water with big waves, windy conditions, but definitely glad. I mean, it was bound to happen sooner or later. We learned all of our lessons the hard way, unfortunately. Knock on wood, but that's probably how it's, dogs don't like that. It's probably going to how it's happened. Probably how it is going to happen from here on out, unfortunately. Lesson learned the hard way is better than a lesson not learned, I guess. But definitely glad it didn't happen towards the end of the season, like late November when it's snowing and like 20 degrees outside, or else that could have definitely been a dicey situation. Extra plugs, bailing cups, clean bilge pump, and a good buddy to say, hey, there's a lot of water in here. Well, define a lot of water, because I put the plug in, but I don't know, is it 2 inches of water, or is it 2 feet of water? I'd say 2 feet's a lot more than 2 inches, but no, I'm still going to give him a hard time for that one, even though it's 100% my fault. We learned from this lesson. Like I said, this will hopefully be the longest we'll ever have to go without posting a video. I mean, even combining all of the like 9, 10 hunts we've been on, can't even try to butcher that together into a video. So unfortunately, we're 2 weeks into waterfowl season, early goose season, and aside from a couple Instagram pictures and a story of almost sinking my boat, really do not have anything to show for that. But we're seeing tons of mallards. We're even seeing some redheads and potentially a bufflehead sighting the other day. So the mallards are here, the woodies are here, we're seeing a lot of widgeons, which is weird. We usually don't see that many widgeons where we hunt, and they're doing it too. I mean, we had widgeons locking up trying to land in goose decoys, so that was cool. So come September 29th, opening day of duck season, the real season here in Michigan, it'll hopefully be a slaughter. I hope we can scratch together a couple of early goose season hunts to put up for you guys. We just dropped. Gonna have to do, I mean, I've already unboxed it, but I have to do a little rundown on definitely the biggest Cabela's order I've ever placed. Potentially a impulse buy, but like almost $1,000 worth of decoys in one order, which is definitely our biggest. But if we don't start slamming birds, we're gonna try to bring you guys some valuable content. We've been doing a lot of scouting, like we were saying earlier, and having a ton of success on getting permission from landowners. So we might do a video. Let us know. You guys want a video on how to talk to landowners and be almost, I mean, out of all the landowners that we talked to, the only only one person didn't give us permission, and that was probably the most awkward 20 minutes of my entire life. Because this dude, I mean, he seemed like a good guy. We walk up there, he's got wild ducks and wild turkeys wandering all over his property, pooping all over everything, trying to eat my freaking shoes. And we go knock on the door. This guy comes out. He's probably 130. Good looking guy, you know, good farmer, in good shape. And I start talking and talking. Hey, how's it going? And he's not saying, he's looking at it. He's not saying anything. Okay. He goes, hey, I can't really hear that good. You're going to have to bring it up. So at this point, I'm like screaming. But like not like an angry scream, just like a, you know, I know you have hard of hearing. I'm blind. But, you know, yada, yada. I'm just yelling at this guy, trying to like, hey, you got birds around here. We're trying to hunt. And, well, needless to say, it was like the most awkward 20, 30 minutes of my life, as there would be times that I thought he could hear us, but then he would reply with something that was completely nonsensical to what we were saying. So aside from that, we've got a pretty good system for getting permission. So if you guys want to see a video of that, leave it down in the comment section. We'll do something like that. We're going to do a goose decoy of our new order rundown video too, and hopefully we will be actually able to show you some actual hunting videos. If not, I mean, I normally vow from September 1st to the end of duck season, usually the last week of November, at least here in the Upper Peninsula, that it's all shotguns, no fishing poles. But if more birds don't show up soon, I'm probably going to have to bust out the fishing pole. I don't know. This was just kind of a random video. Been way too long without talking with you guys. I start to feel bad. I mean, you guys, at least some of you like some of our stuff, so you know, the least we can do is bring you some more content. That was, the story of how we almost sank the boat. Extra plugs, clean bilge pump, and a cup to bail out your boat. And those are 3, and life jackets, obviously. We didn't have to put the life jackets on, but that's just common sense right there. So thank you guys for watching this video. Glad we are still here to bring you these videos. Let us know what you want to see. Do you want to see a how to get permission video? Do you want to see a decoy video? Do you want to see shotgun shell shot? Whatever calls, whatever you want to see. We need ideas because it's potentially possible that we won't kill any birds until opening day duck season. Unfortunately. Can't even call them crows. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you're feeling. Leave a comment down in that comment section. Sometimes it takes us a week or 2 to get back to you, but we reply to every comment. We take pride in that. If you guys want to talk to us, the least we can do is talk back with you, and we like doing it. We know you all already have, but if you haven't hit that subscribe button, thumbs up. I already did that. All right. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for watching. As always, happy adventures.